Been a little while since I've done one of these, and you guys always seem to enjoy them. So today we're going to take a look at the Nextbox Android 6.0 TV box. Let's dive right into it. As you can see here from the back, this is model number A5. CPU in it is the Amlogic S905X quad core. Has 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, Bluetooth 4, 802.11 ABG-in, and of course, Android 6.0. It supports VP9 and 4K HD. Should be fun. So inside of the box, you get the box, the Nextbox. Power brick with barrel connector, output 5 volts at 2 amps, relatively short HDMI cable, remote that takes 2 AAA batteries that do not appear to be included, and the user manual, which gives you some info on how to turn it on and off, how to switch the applications, get back to the home screen, reading external storage, setting up Wi-Fi and hotspots, doing Miracast and DLNA and AirPlayer, and of course how to set up the remote control. All that stuff you'll need to get started. As for the Nextbox itself, here you see on the top Nextbox A5. On the front, does not appear to be anything, although I'm sure that's an IR receiver here in the front. You can kind of see that little bit of, yeah, there's a spot there. On the side, you've got a micro SD card slot as well as 2 USB ports, full-size USB. The other side, there's nothing. In the back, you've got AV input, LAN, Ethernet input, HDMI, optical SPDIF input, and the DC 5-volt power port. And on the bottom, just that little summary of information. Android TV player model A5. It is the 2 gig, 16 gig storage version with the S905X. I don't see any sort of buttons or anything on it. It's just a box. You plug it in, control it with your remote, and it runs Android 6. And I think that's actually all that I can do from this point. So I'm gonna go ahead, hook everything up, and now let's go ahead and move over to the interface, and I'll walk you through that. And here we are on the Nextbox A5. Just so you're aware, I have this set up relatively simply, just power and HDMI hooked up to the box, HDMI going out to my HDMI capture device, the Elgato HD60, and from that going out to my television, and I've just got the simple remote with the 2 AAA batteries in it I'm going to be using to control things, which will make typing very difficult. But let's get started. We'll just go left to right, top to bottom, and whatnot. Here you can see the home screen. We have Kodi, YouTube, File Manager, a browser, Google Play, Kodi Center, Netflix, and a link to all of the apps that come pre-installed. As we move across, you can see some recommended applications, some applications that'll do online things, some apps to interact with your local content, and then a settings menu. And each of those other 3 menus, you can add different things. You can customize it on your own there. And then under settings, of course, you've got your system info, which tells you we're using a Nextbox A5 running Android 6.01 with 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage. Under other, it just gives us the option to enable and disable touch sound. I went ahead and did that when I was failing to record this earlier. Under weather, you've got weather settings if you want to input your city name for that. It looks like it automatically picked up Washington where I am not, but that's okay. And then under settings, you get the traditional Android settings menu. Now, as it was implied there, I've already gone through some of this once, so I've gone through and set up my network connection. You can see I am connected to Wi-Fi at the moment. And as you do see here, it does work with 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi networks, which is very nice. But again, typing on this without a keyboard is a little bit hard. Under display, we're only gonna have 1080p as a resolution because of the capture device that I'm using. So 1080p 60 is the max we can do with this. Although if we plug directly into a 4K TV or monitor, it should do 4K as well. You can do all sorts of other screen type things, as well as enabling HDR if your device supports it. Under storage, you can see a total internal space of 16 gigs, 1.2 gigs of installed apps by default. There's even a more settings option here down under the preferences that takes you to another menu that's even older style Android. Not old, but it's kind of like traditional, not TV style. But you can get in here and get even more stuff if you want that. You have info about setting up remotes, adding Bluetooth accessories, location info, security restrictions. So basically just standard stuff. And I'm very much a fan of the standard Android stuff. Going back to your home though, and taking a look at all the apps that come pre-installed. Of course, I mentioned all of these here on the main page earlier, but if we go to all apps, we'll just quickly run through some of them. You can see Play Store's pre-installed, you've got the browser and YouTube pre-installed. You've got an update button right here, so if you wanted to update or check for updates, you can do that. We'll go ahead and do that real quick. Online update. Given that it's running Android 6.0.1, I don't foresee there being any updates, but it never does hurt to check. Well, the update decided not to do anything, so let's move on. It looks like other than that, we have several online apps pre-installed, so all the ones it was showing there on the home screens are actually installed. Crackle, HGTV, Huffington Post, Hulu, Megabox, Pandora, Plex, I love Plex, Skype, Twitter, Voodoo, Netflix, Vivo, and that's about it. Now you do also have a root browser pre-installed, so presumably this device is rooted. You can see here it says to enable the features of root browser we need to download some utilities. Do you want to start it now? Now unfortunately, because I don't have a mouse, this isn't working thinking, there we go. Sure, let's give it a shot. It's just downloading Unrar and Zip and things like that. But that doesn't appear to work terribly well without an actual mouse. So maybe I'll try that another time. You've also got the option to set up Miracast if you'd like to send what's on your device to it. Let's just check the YouTube app because I spend a lot of time at YouTube. It says a newer version is available, and apparently I skipped over that. Oh, and apparently if I hit this little button to the bottom left side of the OK button, it looks kind of like a mouse pointer. It turns it into a mouse pointer, so that's interesting. But the YouTube app does not appear to be working quite well with this, meaning I can't scroll. Take a look at Google Play and see if we can get everything working in there. At this point, yeah, it's going to have me sign in. And I'm not quite ready to sign in yet, so I'm going to go ahead and skip past that, but it did look like it was going to work appropriately. I guess the last thing to take a look at is just Kodi, because that's what a lot of you guys ask about. Had a problem with an add-on apparently, but it looks like Kodi, and it's got a bunch of stuff pre-installed to it. So there's a bunch of channels there for videos, one for music, programs, stuff, add-on installer and maintenance tool, and system settings. So if Kodi is your thing, this, I mean, so far just browsing around in the interface appears to be going pretty well. Alright, skipping ahead just a few minutes, I dug into the Kodi stuff a little bit, and with the pre-installed stuff it comes with, let's just say there may be some legality issues there, so I'm not going to dig any deeper into that on camera, obviously, so do with that what you will. As far as what comes pre-installed on this little box, there's a lot of media stuff here, and really it's sort of just a way to aggregate online content. It looks like for some of the apps, the remote is still not quite there. The YouTube stuff specifically I was having trouble with, but if you have a wireless mouse, I'm sure it would work just fine, just sort of like using a wireless mouse with a touchscreen device like a phone or a tablet. And it even looks like the remote is capable of interacting with your TV, so changing your input and changing the volume levels and stuff if you get that all set up appropriately. So all in all, I say this is a very interesting little device, one of the first that I've seen running Android 6, so if you're looking to get a newer version of Android, and a pretty decently powerful little box that you can sort of customize to your needs, has a very nice little sleek design to it, check out the link down in the description. Thanks so much to Nextbox for sending this out for me to take a look at. Thanks to you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up down below if you like this video, and subscribe to receive more, and I will see you again next time.